Hi Audrey, please take a seat. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to participate in today's 6-monthly review. Before we start, I'd just like to make sure that you're comfortable and let you know that there's water available if you'd like it at some point during our conversation.
Thank you, yes, everything's fine.
Thank you. Good. Today we're going to review the last 6 months of work and cover everything we do as part of our ongoing review process. Things like performance against targets, setting new targets for the period ahead, and discussing anything you'd like to bring to my attention as your line manager. That can be anything that you feel is relevant to your current job role or situation. And then I'd like for us to have a look at maybe coming up with some form of action plan to ensure that the next 6 months are a big success for us. But before we dive into the figures and the performance data that you've filled out for today's meeting, I'd just like to ask you how things are in general. I know you normally have some big travel plans around this time of year. Have you got anything in the pipeline for this year?
Yes, you know me, I love my travelling and holidays. This year's plan is quite a big one actually. I've made it my ambition to visit every continent by the time I'm 60, and also as many countries as I can within those continents. I haven't yet been to Asia, so this year I thought I would try India.
Oh, that's excellent. That sounds really great. Have you got a specific itinerary for that?
Yes, I was thinking of visiting a couple of major cities if possible, then perhaps spending the last few days relaxing somewhere in somewhere in Goa and do the real tourist thing.
Well, that sounds amazing. I'm really quite jealous. You'll have to make sure you take plenty of photos and bring them into the office. We can all have a look and see what a great time you've had. How's everything else? How are those 2 cats of yours still keeping you busy?
Yeah, they're full of mischief, always up to something, but they definitely keep me on my toes. They're excellent company for me around the house. I really don't know what I'll do without them.
That's really nice to hear. I'm glad they're doing so well. Right, if you feel ready, I'd like to look in a bit more detail at the performance review document and the data that's come from the quality control and sales teams. I'd just like you to remember that this is an open conversation, open forum. We love to hear honest views, particularly from our long-serving colleagues, such as yourself. And if you've got any questions or points to make, then please do raise them, because we really do find that that's the best way to get the maximum out of these reviews.
That's great, I'll do that.
Right, let's take a look at your performance review document and the data we've been provided with, which is right here on the table. Firstly, I'd just like to ask you from your own perspective, how do you feel that your performance has gone in the last 6 months?
To be honest, I don't think it's gone very well in the last 6 months. I do feel as though I've hit a bit of a brick wall and that I've gone backwards in most areas. I normally find the targets pretty reasonable but challenging, but I'm usually able to hit them. This time I've found it a bit more difficult and it makes me feel disappointed.
Thank you for your honest assessment there. I know it couldn't be very easy to say that about finding your targets hard. I know we've spoken informally a couple of times about a dip against targets and falling numbers, but now I think it's important to cover each area of data that we've been provided with and actually see how those numbers break down and see how far we've missed the target by.
That's fine.
So in the last 6 month period, which we're concentrating on, obviously you've got a range of data there going back over a long period of time. We've seen a sharp decrease across the board really, and it includes up to shortfalls of 50% in areas such as cord made, sales conversions, and now up to sort of 49% of recalls are actually unresolved.
I've never really had numbers like that before, just like a slump.
I think it's important also to look at the overall customer satisfaction scores that indicate a decrease in points in the overall ratings from both customers and the quality control team. In the past, this has always been a particular area of strength for you.
Yeah, I always feel I do my job best with customers. Despite the ratings, I still think I work hard and do a good job.
Yeah. Obviously, I think it's important to recognise you're a long-serving employee who's achieved some excellent results for us during your employment, and as such, I've got a few questions for you in a minute, which I do believe might help us probe into some of those areas of underperformance and hopefully find some reasons there. And from there, we can generate an action plan towards turning round that level of performance.
Yes, that's fine with me. I definitely want to turn my numbers around. It's just so unlikely to struggle in this life. I always work hard and would consider whatever options are given, extra training or working with different products.
So, as I say, I've got just a couple of questions for you designed to probe into last 6 months' performance. As I said, we welcome open and honest feedback. So please feel free to share any issues that you've got with us. What in particular have you found most difficult about hitting your targets in the last 6 months?
I think the main thing has been the upheaval in my home life. It's been such a shock to lose both my parents in the last 12 months. I felt really close to them, and now I've had to adjust to living on my own. After never doing that before, and I guess it's overwhelmed me a bit. I think it's not both my confidence and my motivation.
I can obviously see how such bad news and that's affected you badly over the last 12 months. It must be difficult to lose obviously one parent, but to lose both parents in such a short space of time is obviously such a large blow. In regards to that, what Lloyd Oct might be able to do for you is we do actually run an employee assistance line, and it deals with a variety of things, you know, whether it be medical problems or things like debt counselling or any kind of personal issues. I'm not saying it's something that you have to do, but I'd like to make you aware that it's there if you think it may be of some benefit. That you know, I know grief counselling is part of the employee assistance package, so you know everything that's said to them is held in the strictest of confidence. And if that's something that you feel may benefit you, then obviously I'd just like to bring to your attention that it's there.
Okay, I'll take it away and give it some thought.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think that's fine.
I also think I've missed out on some of the training days this year. We normally have around 10 days a year, but I think I've only had about 7. I think I missed some while I was on bereavement leave. Those training days were product knowledge training, and I feel as though I really missed out and I don't feel as confident with the new products.
Obviously I can understand that missing training days, particularly product knowledge days, may impact on your performance. I'd like to thank you for bringing that to my attention that we've missed those. You know, obviously it couldn't be avoided at the time you were on bereavement leave, but what I think we can do possibly then is look to rearrange that training for you if you'd be willing to undertake it, and hopefully, you know, give you that greater confidence with the product going forward. Yeah,
That would be great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
lovely. As I've said all the way through, at Lloyd Oct it's important for us to support all our colleagues. You know, we believe we've got a strong work ethic and that it's a good and fun place to work. We believe that's reflected in our low turnover and the colleague engagement scores we get. So, given that supportive environment, what do you think perhaps we can do for you in order to get you back to your normal numbers?
I was concerned when you said my customer service ratings have gone down. It has always been a real point of pride for me, and I never liked to feel that I've let a customer down or haven't given them the full options available. I was wondering whether it would be possible to do switch to work with a quality control supervisor, some more advice. At the minute we get monitored about 3 times a week. Can we go up to 5 times till my numbers start to take up?
I think that's a really good suggestion. That's something where you can get some real experts advice off quality control. They're the experts, they've got some real solid grounding in customer service training. So I'm more than happy on your behalf just to speak to the quality control supervisor and just see if they'll listen in a little bit more on your calls and perhaps take you to one side and give you a bit more of that constructive feedback. Yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion.
I also feel a bit out of place on my new team. As I said before, I really don't identify with the product. I don't think I'm getting on that well with everyone else. They're all in their early 20s, and with me being a bit older, I'm just not up to date with everything, and I feel a bit lost.
Right, okay. Obviously you've moved from the medical team to the beauty team, and there were reasons for that. We've moved you across because we do see you as a good salesperson and a good role model for that team. Perhaps missing some of that product knowledge training early on in your time with that team has perhaps left you a little bit behind the others. I definitely think you'd be able to learn more about the product and be more confident with the product. But perhaps one thing we can do is perhaps offer a mentor to help you along on there. In particular, there's a very vibrant colleague on there, Amy. I don't know if you know her, but I think she's got really good product knowledge. Customer service is excellent, and she's really got a real buzz about her. Numbers are good, and I think perhaps if you bounce ideas off each other and support each other, there'll be some mutual benefit there for you both.
Yeah, that sounds really good, but I was hoping I'd be able to move back to the medical team. The move came at totally the wrong time for me. It wasn't a decision I would have made to switch to beauty. My passion was definitely more for the medicine side, and I had a good rapport and long-established relationship with some of my customers. I'm finding it difficult to get passionate about the beauty product, and as such I'm finding it hard to sell.
Well, to be honest, at the minute, Audrey, we're not particularly looking at moving you back to the medicine team. You had got a very good proven track record on there, but it was a decision to move you onto the beauty team for your selling expertise and also your maturity to be a leader on there. You've obviously got long service with us and a very good record, and we'd like you to take that forward and give that kind of guidance to the beauty team and be a bit of a leader on there. As we speak, the medical team is doing very well and very settled with its current lineup, and it's not something that we're particularly looking to change. We've got full confidence with you on the beauty team. We do see that as your at least immediate future. Would you be okay to go on, carry on there? We'll give you that extra support to turn it round, and that is that something that you can do for us?
Yeah, I'll always do my best.
Thank you. Lovely. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I mean, I'd like to thank you for both your cooperation and honesty. It speaks really well of your character that you've been so open with us. I think it's also important as part of this review to cover the future as well as the last few months. What would you say your current aims and aspirations with us?
Well, I do consider myself hard-working and quite a generally successful colleague with Lloyd Oct, and by and large I've always enjoyed my role here. If I had to say, I would say that my short-term aspirations are really to turn my figures round.
Yeah, obviously.
And so that I'm back at the level where I've been for the past time in my employment. I'm willing to take as much advice and any training to give me, the best chance at that. Long term, I would definitely consider myself still to be ambitious, I'm at a stage in my career where I'd like to progress and see myself move up the ladder. I enjoy working here and I'd like to think I would be capable of being considered for any upcoming senior roles.
Yeah, obviously two very good sets of aims. Short term, I think it's good and focused. Obviously, it's around turning your targets back around, your performance against those. A very good, relevant goal, and as I say, we can help you get there. Long term, definitely, as I said to you before, we moved you from medicine to beauty with the intention of you being a leader on there, and you know, as the company expands, we are looking for people who've got that leadership ability, you know, and potentially then to run their own teams. So once we work on those numbers and you get settled into the beauty team a bit more, get that extra product knowledge and complete the training that you've missed, I don't see why, you know, long term you can't be considered for some more senior roles.
Thank you.
Right, if we just have a quick look then at some of the actions that we think might be relevant to us, because I think those questions and that we've probed really well and got some good info out of them. So I'd just like to get a few actions down on a bit of paper onto the review document, and these can be actions by me to help you, then actions by you to carry out. In actions by me are going to be to arrange that extra product training for you, to sort out the mentorship program with Amy, and I think what we'll do is arrange a further 3-month review down the line so we can see how this is working to turn your targets around. I don't want to wait another 6 months to kind of get the data back. We'll have another good look in 3 months, sit down together and see how it's going. For yourself, you're going to catch up on the training days. If you touch base with Amy as soon as I've agreed with her, and perhaps if you just come up with a short action plan between you that you can present back to me, you know, within the next week or so, once you've got an idea of how you're going to work together. We're also going to have a look at that quality control guidance for you and get some more regular feedback. And obviously, finally, we did talk about the employee assistance program, which you can look at now for us. You know, I think those are some really good actions.
Yeah, I think we can achieve something.
Excellent. As I say, I'm really happy with the action plan because, you know, I think there's some excellent points on there that will make a big difference to KPI performance. Are there any more questions that you have for me in regards to what we've discussed today?
No, I feel better in general now, but I'd just like to make sure I'm still valued and seen as a good member of staff.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, you've got good service with us. The data that we've provided today shows a pattern of generally, you know, really, really good figures. It's only in the last 6 months that we've struggled to kind of keep those high standards up. And I think we've found that there are some valid reasons there why we might have had a dip, and from there we have agreed some actions that are going to help us turn those round. So absolutely, you're seen as a valued employee to us. Absolutely.
Thank you. The other thing that I'm most worried about is my bonus payments. I usually hit every time and then put money towards my holidays. I've already paid for my Indian trip, so I'm not so worried about that. But I'm aware that I haven't hit my targets this year. I was just wondering what would happen about my next bonus. I realise I won't qualify for full bonus, but I do feel I deserve at least a partial one for the work I've put in this year. Is that something that would be possible?
Right. Obviously, this is something that I'll have to consider closely. The terms of the bonus scheme are quite set, and as you've highlighted yourself, that this 6 monthly period you haven't actually hit your bonus. targets. Having said that, I do think there are some extenuating circumstances. So within that, we may look at the bonus scheme criteria and see if there is an opportunity there to make perhaps a partial bonus payment. What I would say is that we will have to see a turnaround in figures. There won't be any immediate bonus payment made to you. But I think what might be the fairest to you and to the other colleagues as well, because obviously they're working towards a set of targets, is if we do have that 3-month interim review, and should you get your figures back up to the target level that you were at before, I think there may be the case that we would be able to make a partial payment to you. I'm thinking perhaps 50% of your original bonus would be perhaps suitable if you can in that 3 months get to that level of hitting your targets and bonusable targets again. That would be a payment backdated for those 6 months, and obviously your new figures would then count towards the next bonus period. Is that something that seems fair? I mean, I do want to reward you for your ongoing commitment, your hard work, and obviously you've battled on through some difficult times, but at the same time I do have to be absolutely fair to everybody. Does that seem a reasonable and fair judgment to you?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, that's lovely. Have you got any further questions for me?
No, I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, I'd like to really thank you for your time. I think it's been a really constructive review. You've been open and honest, and you've given some really good feedback to me. So I think that's the way we do get the most out of these reviews. I'd just like to confirm that we will hold a further review in the next 3 months, as we've agreed, and we'll have some ongoing day-to-day chats to see how things go. But the next sit down, as such, in this format will probably be in 3 months' time. And after today's meeting, I'm really confident that we will see an upturn in performance. And as ever, we like to believe we're very approachable. We've always got an open door, so if you are having any more difficulties, if you'd like to ask for any extra support, then please do come and see us. All that sound fine?
Yeah, it's really good. Thank you. It's been very useful.
Thank you very much for your input today, and I'll obviously catch up with you in the week. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.